welcome back to the Horror Daddies Show.
A podcast where we talk about your favorite horror movies.
And the daddies in them.
I forgot for a second. Who are you?
I am the Horror Daddy himself, Carlos.
And I'm your film daddy, John. And Carlos, what movie did we watch today?
Well, today we watched Leprechaun from 1993. So with that being said, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there.
Happy St. Patty's Day to y'all. I would say I would do an Irish accent, but I don't know if that's racist. So,
I mean, this movie did it, so.
This movie is riding the line.
Yeah.
But how did you come to this movie? That's like, how did you find out about this movie? Did you find out as a kid, or did you watch this as an adult?
Yeah. So I watched, this was, okay, so Leprechaun has been in my childhood since like long as I can remember. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But I don't think I started with the first one. I think I started with 2 and 3 because those are the two I remember the most. But I didn't know that he went to space until like a few years ago.
And we watched it today.
I knew he was in the hood. I just never knew he went to space. So Leprechaun has gone places, and you know what?
Where hasn't he been? He's been around. He's been
Florida.
around town.
He hasn't been to Florida.
Dude, that would be a good sequel.
But Leprechaun. What about you, actually?
So I have a vague memory that I remember staying at my grandma's house, and for some fucking reason she was like, let's put Leprechaun. So I remember being terrified of Leprechaun because I was like, what is happening? Like, he was creepy looking, but I don't know which one it is because it's not this one, because I don't remember anything from this one.
Yeah. But
we watched 3 and 4 today.
I watched 1 through 4.
Yeah, and we watched 3. I watched 3 and 4. I skipped 2, but none of that looked familiar. But then there's like 7 movies, so I'm like, I don't know. It might be just one of them. I think it was on TV because I don't think she had it, so I don't know.
Well, they were always played on the Sci-Fi Channel, and they're all kind of a blur together. It's like the Leprechaun, unless you're in space, and that one's like, okay, this is definitely 4. But
and it's also like they don't have like a storyline. It's like they're just there because in space, they're just in space. They don't explain anything. They're just in space. Yep.
I feel like the Leprechaun movies they all could be the first one, and you just don't know.
Yeah. Because they explain everything. Like it's weird.
There's always the whole like leprechauns can do this or they can't do that, and he wants his gold.
Yeah, that's literally it. And
except for in space, he wants his gold at the end.
Oh yeah, for real. Like that. Oh my god, we could talk about that movie. But let's focus on the first one.
But yeah, so Leprechaun 1993, directed and written by Mark Jones. Starring Warwick Davis, who's the Leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston, who plays Tori, who is very ashamed to be in this movie.
That's so disrespectful. I would be so pissed.
She never talks about it.
That's so rude.
So Kevin Olant, who's Nathan, Mark Holton, who's Ozzy, and Robert Gorman, who's Alex. That's pretty much the 5 characters in this movie. Yeah. And Jennifer Aniston's dad, who's in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he disappears for like a good chunk of the movie.
Yeah, he gets bitten by a leprechaun cat. But yeah, I went through a rabbit hole today, and we're not done yet. I'm still going to watch the others.
Yeah, we're definitely going to watch In the Hood, because Peacock keeps recommending it. So every time we watch a movie, it always recommends Leprechaun in the Hood.
So we're going there.
We're going to the hood after this.
I can't wait. But, so we're going to start off, because I don't know what else to say about this movie.
Yeah, I have no words for this movie.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
It's on Peacock. If you have premium Peacock.
It's also on Tubi, I think.
Yeah, yes, it is on Tubi. I don't know if it's free on Peacock, like the free version of Peacock with the ads. I don't know.
I don't know. If you pay for Peacock because of Halloween Kills, you can watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I watched it.
I watched it.
So this movie starts off with the leprechaun coming down the stairs.
It's like a cave looking thing.
Yeah.
And there's a giant pot of gold with a rainbow light hitting, which honestly looks cool as fuck. Yeah.
You're thinking you're going to go into this horror movie, which the director wanted a straight horror movie, but Warwick Davis was like, hey, let's throw some comedy into this. And the director thought it was a good idea. So that's why we got this.
Honestly, I'd rather this. It'd be weird if this was a straight up just, horror movie.
It's because you can't imagine it because you haven't seen it.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm like, it would feel, for me, I'm thinking like, how could you make this like a serious movie?
I think you can. The only problem is that you've seen already 4 of these like this, and you just can't imagine it as straight horror. That's the problem. You know what would be who could take this movie and make it straight horror? Michael Dougherty, the one that made Trick or Treat or Krampus.
Oh, that'd be cool.
He already made 2 holidays. Make it a third.
Yeah. Then Easter. Then go down the list.
Yep. Cinco
That'd
de
be pretty
Mayo.
great.
Independence Day.
They already have one.
4th of July. Labor Day. Just make it all horror.
Labor Day.
New Year's. I don't know. Make it all horror.
But it looks cool because I'm like, oh, it kind of gives it a little bit of like,
yes.
Mystery because you don't see him very much.
No.
You see only his silhouette really, but he's like counting his coins and he's doing little voice like, this is my coin. And I kind of sound like Mario, but
he says, try as they will, try as they might, who steals me gold won't live through the night.
Ooh, and it's like, oh shit, don't touch his gold, motherfuckers.
Okay, so yeah, it's like, okay, who's who? Okay, so it's like, okay, but then the next scene cuts and this Mr. O'Grady comes, I stole a leprechaun's gold, and I'm like, oh my god, already. They already started off with this,
and he's like, okay, so he goes into his house and he's drunk as fuck. He is drinking liquor,
he's a millionaire. Yeah,
he's like, I'm a millionaire. Okay, so I thought this movie took place in Ireland at first, but
it's
then
in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's in North Dakota. I was like, okay, but he's super Irish, and they're like this. He has like this, really cute Irish wife, and she's kind of like, bro, we're broke. Like, what the fuck you doing in a limousine with a nice suit on, drinking alcohol like it's nothing? Like, what is happening?
He went to Ireland to basically spread his mother's ashes.
Yeah.
But instead, while he was in Ireland, the movie that we didn't see is that he found the leprechaun and took his gold and also kidnapped the leprechaun with him. That's the movie that we missed.
I want to see that. We should do a prequel to that.
And the wife doesn't know that he has the leprechaun either.
No. So he kind of just goes, we're rich. We don't have to worry about it. Look at me. This is the last fuck up you're ever going to see. We're good. We're set. And she don't believe him.
No.
He literally shows them. Okay, so they're like, oh, do you have the ashes? He breaks the
urn.
or the urn, yeah. In the bag of gold. All the gold is in there. And he's like, look at all the gold. Yeah. And she's like, you're crazy. I'm going to go make some tea.
Which is the only movie he has a sack of gold because the rest he actually has the pot of gold.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They don't really continue. Anyways. So yeah, but then as she's making tea, she hears a little kid like from the suitcase and she opens it and it's the leprechaun. And so this is the only movie he does this where he changes his voices like this.
Yes, and
his powers never really stay the same either.
We don't know what he could do.
No,
these motherfuckers like Doctor Strange. He could do whatever he wants,
whenever he wants, for the
when
plot.
it's convenient.
Yeah.
Because he never changes his voice, right? I'm trying to think. Does he do it in 2?
He plays with people's minds. Like he'll make people see other people, but it's really him. Anyway,
but in this one, he changes his voice to a random little boy, which is also really weird.
To attract, well, I guess it's because so this is my thing. If you hear a child in danger, you're most likely to go check on that child.
I'm gonna mind my own business.
I know, but other people don't do that. So that's why he tricked this poor old lady. He comes out of the suitcase and he's like, bitch, where is me gold?
Which is cool because she opens a briefcase and you see his eyes only, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
He's in the shadows for the beginning of this movie.
It is pretty awesome. You see his feet.
It's more horror in the beginning of this movie, but he just wants his gold, and if you give him his gold, he'll leave you the fuck alone. Just give him the gold.
Literally, he'd be like, all right, see you later. Like,
and it better be every single one of them because he'll count them too.
Oh yeah, which later in the movies, he has 100.
Always,
but then he has a giant pot of gold of them. It's like there's not 100 in there.
It's because the pot is like
it's already half filled.
Yeah, with something else. But he like kind of like walks towards her like he's just asking her for the gold, and she falls down the stairs and dies, and he's just kind of like, oh well, I guess do I smell tea? I'm gonna go drink some tea.
It's one of those Laugh Alert commercials, except the old lady dies. So, but then O'Grady comes back, and he's like
looking for her.
Yeah, looking for her, whatever. And then you hear her, but it's a leprechaun with all the tea, and he's like, "Oh shit, I thought I killed you or whatever." Yeah. And he's like, "Nah, you can't do that. Where's my pot of gold?"
Yeah, that's all he wants.
That's all. That's it. But then he pulls out a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, he runs to his room to get a gun and a 4-leaf clover. The only movie that from 1 to 4 so far that the 4-leaf clover is a thing.
Yeah, they stopped.
Yeah. So
they bring something else that is the same thing as the 4-leaf clover, except it's not the 4-leaf clover.
Yeah, it's a medallion. But he shows him the 4-leaf clover, and the leprechaun like freaks out, like, get that away from me, please. And they have this chase scene where, like, kind of not really. The leprechaun runs into the basement. The guy runs behind him. Then he pretends to be the wife, even though the wife like did like this on the floor.
Oh my fucking god, she fucking dead.
Yeah. And he grabs the leprechaun, chucks him into this crate, locks him up, and puts the 4-leaf clover on top. My thing is, fine. The 4-leaf clover is on top, so the leprechaun can't get out, which to me, it's like, okay, dude, just break the wall. But I guess the 4-leaf clover shields the whole crate.
I don't know.
Whatever.
You can't, it's literally, we learned that you can't ask any questions.
No.
You just have to watch the movie.
But he's like, oh, let me out of here. Let me out of here. Then the guy goes upstairs, takes his wife with him, ends up having a heart attack, and we cut to 10 years later. My thing is, in the span of 10 years, you know, the clover dies.
Yeah.
So
it deteriorates.
Wouldn't it deteriorate and be gone?
Wouldn't
bugs eat it?
You would
Something?
think so. You would think so. But at the same time, there's so many things that happen in this movie that logic doesn't matter.
No.
So
I know.
Hey, it's maybe the 4-leaf clover has some sort of power that like keeps it alive as much as possible. Maybe, I don't fucking know, because it's intact. It's just like all like it's pretty much black. Like it's like really old.
It dried up. It's a dried up leaf. But the thing is that it stayed on top of this crate. Nothing knocked it down for 10 years, but whatever.
And it's not like the leprechaun could like push it. Oh,
That's
out.
another thing. He was moving the crate at first,
and then he stopped. He's like, "Oh, I can't do it anymore."
Or the crate has crevices. He could have blew up and like it will fly away or something.
Stop it!
I don't know. I love that the second movie's copper. You can't touch anything.
It's
iron. Sorry, iron.
And isn't it copper afterwards?
I don't know.
I don't fucking.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But anyway, 10 years later, North Dakota, we meet JD and Tori, who's played by Jennifer Aniston. They bought the house basically.
And you can tell that Jennifer Aniston is very good at being the annoying fucking white girl in a movie.
Well, she is from LA and she has money and she doesn't want to be there. And she's complaining that there's no pools, there's no cable, there's nothing to do there, no malls.
So I bet there's not even a fucking TV or something like that. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus.
They go down to the basement. She sees a spider and she freaks out. She doesn't want to be there.
A spider's a tarantula, bro. Like the one spider that doesn't do shit to you. I mean, would I touch it? No, but
actually, they do things. Not all of them, but they do.
That one looked like he was.
Let's not say that they don't, because then we have someone on here saying, "Well, they said they did it," and they do. Some of them do.
I mean, don't touch him. I'm not gonna touch him, but I mean, he looked friendly.
She's calling a hotel room because she wants to leave. She doesn't want to stay there because it's been. But then she sees Dick, and she's like, "You know what? I'll stay."
You know what? This house is not that bad.
So she sees Walmart branded Evan Peters, and she's like, his name is Nathan. He just looks like Evan Peters and Valentine from Tremors had a baby.
Oh, I can see that actually.
That's what he looks like. That's what Nathan looks like to me. He fine though. So she bumps into him. She tries to give him money for wasting his paint thinner.
Yeah, he's like I'm just a guy walking with paint thinner. And she's like, immediately, here's $20. And
sorry for your paint thinner. He's like, a simple sorry would, justify that.
I'd have been like, oh, sorry as well.
But she's still leaving until he says, oh, girls are scared of spiders. And she makes this comment like, well, it's not the 50s anymore. It's the 90s. And I'm like...
Yeah, she says, did I leave where's my 50s calendar or whatever? It's the 90s. We're equal. And I was like...
girl, and in the 90s, women still didn't get treated equally.
Not at all.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. Power to her. She's standing her ground.
But as her dad is also bringing out the suitcase because he's like, okay, fine, we'll leave. We'll go to a hotel room. She's like, you know what? We'll stay.
Dad, you're freaking out.
Yeah.
Bro, calm down, Dad.
It was just a spider. We'll stay. And the dad's like, the fuck? You just wanted to leave.
My thing is that what kind of dad was like, fuck it. You don't like the house? Let's just go home. Like, no. Like, he would have been like, calm your ass down.
I don't think they were going to go home. I think they were just going to let the three men that paint fix up the house and then they'll come back.
He was exploiting their labor.
Yeah.
And just be like, fuck it, they'll clean it up.
Once the house is clean, then we'll come back.
He comes back, the leprechaun killed them all, and he's like, what the fuck happened here?
Much better movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also then meet the other two boys, Alex and Ozzy. Alex, I guess, is Nathan's little brother, and Ozzy's just a
looks
friend.
like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dad goes, oh, I met your brother Nathan.
Mhm.
And then he's like, oh, and this is my friend Ozzy.
Yeah.
Which, okay, Carlos, is Ozzy like mentally challenged?
I think that's what we're supposed to think.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they do make a lot of comments, but like the thing, he acts like he could be.
He acts like a child.
Yeah, and but nobody explicitly says it. They're just kind of like, oh, because later they say something like, oh, we can fix you or something like that.
He's like the dumb cartoon character like Ed and Eddie. Which
Yeah.
Ed am I talking about? I don't know. Y'all figure that one out.
Which one? Math equation.
But yeah, he's just that character. In this
Or he's
movie.
just like, yeah.
And
It's just
everyone-
like the comments that they make sometimes. It's like, oh, is he like medically like that? Or
it's a little offensive. But
oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah, he just gets treated like shit. He gets treated like a child when there is a child in this movie. Okay, fun question. Who's more annoying, this kid or the kid from Frosty?
Ooh, okay.
Jack Frost, sorry.
The thing is, the kid from Jack Frost is just basic annoying. This one just has a fucking attitude because he's a smart kid. So you can be like, okay, at least you're mature, like to like the.
Is he though?
Like, okay, like he's mature to the point where it's like, okay, I don't find you annoying, but like you do have a fucking attitude, so I will fight you.
Yeah.
But the other kid,
I've never hit a kid, but
but if I have to,
Alex,
I'll fucking. But the kid from Jack Frost, he is fucking annoying. I think he's definitely has the higher tier in annoyance.
Okay.
The other one just has an attitude, which I can't
The
really.
one from Jack Frost just has a punchable face.
Listen to our Jack Frost episode.
So then we get Tori. She's going down to the basement with 2 drinks, so she's trying to, get dicked down by Nathan here. Yep. And she gets this like blanket thrown on her. She drops all the drinks into the crate, and this is when we see the leprechaun wake up. Which I was like, oh, so he was just sleeping this whole time.
He's just because he makes a comment later where he's like, oh, so you literally have just been sleeping. Whereas he literally just opens his eyes. He's like, what the fuck is happening
there's
here?
people here. So they spill the drink on her. Then we get then Ozzy screams. They run outside. There's paint all over him. Alex is making fun of him. He goes to clean himself up, and then he hears someone singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Song."
It's a little kid voice again.
Yes,
Which is fucking random, but okay.
yes. Which the other day I asked Alexa. Speaking of that song, I asked Alexa, "Hey Alexa, play me some of that." Play me some of that hoe music. And Alexa played me Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So I don't know what Alexa was trying to tell me, but I was just trying to twerk in my room.
So
whatever.
When you hear the little kid singing in this, when you start twerking, you're like, oh shit, Alexa, play me that hoe song.
Sorry, just had to say that story. So okay, so Ozzy comes out. Sorry.
Alexa has me. Oh my god.
Okay. So Ozzy goes down to the basement. The little kid's in the crate. The little kid, air quotations, and he removes the clover. And as soon as he removes the clover, the leprechaun pops out.
Like it's like what? Why?
What was keeping you so in there? My thing is, this whole movie would have finished if O'Grady, when he knocked out the leprechaun, instead of throwing him in the crate, he just shoved the clover down his throat.
That's true.
The whole movie would have just ended.
Wow, that's so true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So all the leprechaun wants is his fucking gold. That's all the leprechaun wants.
He's trying to mind his business. He wants to enjoy his money, but motherfuckers don't stop stealing it.
But he also cleans Ozzy's shoes. He has an obsession with shoes in this movie he doesn't have anymore after the sequels.
Yeah, because they were like, let's make a leprechaun killer. Everything that about leprechauns we know, we're just gonna shove it in this movie. Does it make sense? No, but fuck it.
Well, except potatoes. They don't do no potatoes.
Oh,
that's in the sequel.
That's an Irish thing though. That's like
they do it in the sequel, so and they make it seem like a leprechaun thing.
Because that's like an Irish stereotype. So
okay, so Ozzy. Ozzy runs out. He's like, there's a leprechaun in the basement. He wants his gold, and no one fucking believes him. So they go check the basement, and all they find is a fucking rat. And
they're making fun of him. And Ozzy, you would think that he would be like, no, he was wearing like a green hat. Like all these
stuff. He does say that, and they still don't believe him.
No, he goes, no, he was bigger than that. That's all he says. I'm like, elaborate.
I'm pretty sure he described them, and they still weren't believing him.
Because he says, oh, I saw his buckle, like what he describes or whatever, because he says like some line. And they go, okay, whatever, you're crazy. They find the rat, and then he's like, he was bigger than that, I swear. I'm like...
Obviously, in some other movies, they're smaller.
In this movie, they see him, and they still don't believe the fucking leprechaun.
Yeah, they think it's a bear. So... They go outside again. This ghetto rainbow appears because this rainbow's only 3 colors. It's not even representing the rainbow.
It's red, green, and blue.
That's all it is. And Ozzy runs towards the rainbow because he knows that if you go to the end of the rainbow, you'll find a pot of gold.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't make the connection.
No.
He just goes, let's find the pot of gold.
Yeah.
Because, whatever.
So they get to the end of the rainbow. They find the gold, and then they're looking at it. Alex has the whole sack of gold. Ozzy goes to bite the gold, see if it's real, and somehow fucking swallows the whole coin.
Like, how do you do that?
And how? I was like, okay. I mean, he went.
He goes, oh, I ate it. You went when that happened. That's when I was like, oh, I see what kind of movie I'm gonna watch now.
Yeah,
like it set the tone from now on.
It's like, the last gold coin. Once we give the leprechaun the gold, we're gonna still need that leprechaun for something else. This movie just needs to like keep dragging and dragging.
It has a lot of scenes.
This could have been a real quick short. And
yeah, there's scenes where like people are just walking, and I'm like, and it cuts to something else, and I'm like, what just happened?
There's a lot of scenes not needed in this movie. So. This is when they're out. Tori is painting outside with Nathan. They're kind of feeling each other, and then she goes to grab some more paint. And as she's grabbing some more paint from the truck, the leprechaun's under the truck, kind of caressing her leg, and she's like, "Ooh, Nathan, stop!" And I'm like, "Girl, how did Nathan go from the inside of the house to under the truck, and you didn't see his ass?"
They literally went opposite directions, and she's like, "Oh, he magically appeared underneath the car to caress me."
But she gets her leg scratched. She thinks she's like, that wasn't an animal. I thought it was Nathan. And Nathan's like, you let me do that?
Oh, okay, girl.
And then Dad is like, what? And she's like, because she's like, because he's like, it's probably a possum or a cat. And then she goes, I know what a man caressing my leg feels like. And the dad's like, what?
Then she looked at him.
Daddy, chill.
So
that was pretty funny though. It made me chuckle.
It is. But then they hear a cat, which he can make cat noises now.
Bro, at this point, he can do anything.
So they go check over. They find where the cat noise is coming from. The dad JD sticks his hand through this tree trunk and then gets his hand bitten. And then we get the shot of the leprechaun licking his lips. And it's like
such a weird CGI. It's so strange. I don't get it, man.
So they go take the dad to the hospital, and then the leprechaun runs into the barn and comes out with a tricycle and goes after them in the tricycle. It's like, are you looking for your gold? Just check if it's in the house. Why are you going after them?
Well, later in the movies, we get to see that he can smell it and he knows exactly like where it's at or like the area,
I guess.
But then this one, he's just like, fuck it, I don't fucking know.
Because the whole sack of gold was somewhere else, and it wasn't on their people.
Yeah, that's.
Anyways,
and where the fuck did he get that tricycle? I don't fucking know.
It was in the barn.
Don't ask me.
There was children there before. Who cares? So when they get to the hospital, Ozzy and Alex go to the pawn shop to get the gold tested out. The pawn shop owner gives them a receipt so they know they can come back and get it.
Which is so dumb because he's like, this is worth $500 because that's all they want. Mm-hmm. That's all they want. They want money.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, it's $500, but it has historical value. And he's like, let me keep it. I'll do some studies and then I'll come back with you.
Oh, and they want money because Alex says that with the money they can fix Ozzy's brain.
That's where I was like, oh,
But
so
then
he's
Ozzy's like, oh, but we can buy comic books every week with that money, and it's like, okay,
yeah, and like because he gets because you're stupid pretty much or something like that. Like he calls him stupid.
And he's like, oh, people don't say in front of your back; they say behind your back.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay.
Alex is super shady.
He's truthful
I
at
guess.
least.
But they leave, and then there's this scene where the pawn shop owner's looking at the coin. Then he gets attacked by the leprechaun, and the leprechaun pogos him to death with a pogo stick.
Yeah, he like bites his leg. He falls, and then he like pogos him to death, which is so weird. He's just like jumping, and you don't see it very much. You just see the aftermath.
It just looks very cinematic when it's like you just see the leprechaun jumping towards him with the pogo stick.
Yeah,
And in slow motion, it looks very cinematic.
but then the guy's dead. He's like barely like hurt. He has ketchup all over him.
Yeah. There's also a clown in the back that keeps sitting up and laying down as the scene cuts, which is really funny.
You told me that, and I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah. So he also finds like this little car. So he takes that car with him. And then as this is happening, they're having dinner at a cafe.
Oh, yeah.
We cut back to the leprechaun. He's on his way back to the house because he has the other gold code he was looking for. So now he sets going back to the house in his little car.
But he gets pulled over. And the cop thinks it's a little kid.
With a mask on. And I'm like, what child looks this real? What mask looks that real?
Oh,
And he's
my
like, I'm
God.
not a child. I'm 600 years old. And the cow's like, yeah, right, buddy. And the leprechaun like rips at his face, takes his gun, and then there's this whole chase scene in the woods that did not need to be this long.
It was so extended, and it's
Mhm.
like they probably told them you got about an hour and 40 minutes. You have to make it to that.
Yeah.
And they literally did not know.
Listen, this leprechaun chased this cop. They played hide and seek for a little bit.
I do like the noises that he makes. He every time, like for some reason, he makes like a joke around something. He goes, ah,
Yeah.
and he runs away. It's so cute.
So eventually he gets the cop and he breaks his neck, and
Oh, yeah.
that's the end of that cop. Every time he does a kill, he also does a pun or a rhyme. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Which is
true.
really funny.
In the later movies, he does speak in rhyme, but in
Mhm.
this one, he just kind of like sometimes makes a comment
Yeah.
like that rhymes, or sometimes he just makes like a little
Which
pun.
he did most of his puns.
Oh, that's cool.
Was him.
That's cool.
He made him up. Back at the dinner scene, they're basically just having dinner. Jennifer Aniston's character doesn't want to eat because she wants a salad and water. And this guy's eating like meatloaf and she does not want that. She doesn't eat meat.
She's vegan, and
Yeah.
pretty much she's like, I don't kill any animals, and I'm very supportive of that. And Nathan grabs her shoe
He
from
pulls a
underneath
reverse card.
and goes, "Bitch, the fuck you talk about killing animals? This is what it's made of."
Yeah.
And she did not know what to say after that.
Yep.
So I have a kind of a dumb vegan story.
Hmm.
So I knew somebody that was vegan,
Mhm.
and it's whatever. I don't have an issue with it. And one time we were talking about it, and she said something like, "Oh, I really want these shoes, but they're not vegan." And I didn't know, so I was like, I laughed because I thought she was making a joke.
No, they don't joke. Those
I
people
thought
don't
she was
joke.
joking because I'm like, how is a shoe could be vegan?
Yeah.
Right? And then she goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're serious?" Like I literally was like, "Oh shit, she's serious."
I would have been like, what do you mean they're not vegan?
So that's when I realized that I'm dumb, because it's that they're made out of leather. Like
Okay.
leather kills animals.
Yeah,
so-
no, I get that. But I didn't know that they referred to other things as vegan.
Yeah, they're vegan. Like it's just vegan, straight up vegan. That's why it confused me.
Well, my hair dye is vegan, if that makes anyone.
So you see, there you go. Like
Yeah, but I mean, whatever.
But I was so confused. I was like, "What do you mean shoes vegan?" Like that's so dumb. But yeah,
But what
it's
shoes? Never
it's
mind.
like they make it out of fake leather. That's what it is. Or
Oh.
like fake like it's not leather.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, because she
that
wanted
makes
some
sense.
boots. I think it was like some boots, but they weren't vegan. They were just like real leather.
I would have just said, "Oh, but these are real leather, not whatever."
I mean, I don't know, but I felt so stupid after that. I felt so dumb.
So I just got very distracted because I have the Elm Street house, the Dream Warriors house right there in that corner, and I've never really looked at it like this. But there's a picture of the Pope like right there.
Wait. Oh. That's funny.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
sorry, I just got super distracted. I get distracted easily. Okay, yeah. So he kills the cop. They're back at the diner. They're having dinner. Ozzy and Alex show up. They're wondering where they were at. That's pretty much what happens in that scene. And then she wanting a salad.
And it's a lot of cut back and forth. Like literally, it's like one thing happens. They like literally it's like the diner scene cuts to the chase scene, cut to the diner scene again, like real quick. It's like super quick.
And the leprechaun gets to the house. He goes inside of the house. This is where we get the lucky clovers, which it was supposed to be Lucky Charms. So what happened was that
they had a sponsor deal. Pretty much.
Basically. But then when they saw the movie, they're like, nah, cut that shit out. Cut that shit out.
Cut the whole entire movie.
We don't want to be in this movie. So they had to reshoot those scenes and make it Lucky Clovers. But the leprechaun here, he eats the cereal. You can tell it's Lucky Charms cereal.
It's literally
but
Lucky
he
Charms.
spits it out like he didn't like it, which I thought was very funny.
And he tosses it to the
because
side.
Lucky Charms, y'all should have just been a good sport. It's a bad, funny movie.
Like, who the fuck is gonna watch this and go, I'm not gonna watch
Fuck Lucky Charms. I'm not gonna support them for being in this movie. Like, shut the fuck up.
It's so dumb.
So he's looking for his goal, but then he gets distracted and starts shining everyone's shoes at the house. Every shoe at the house gets fucking shined here,
which is literally so out of nowhere because it's like, okay, I get that. I think that's supposed to be part of the lore or something. Like they're like shoe work. What is it? Cobblers?
Yeah, they say
or something like that. But it's like, why? Like, why is that his thing? Like, it has nothing to do. It doesn't add any horror aspect to it. Nothing. He just cleans shoes, and that's it.
I mean, I don't know how much was changed when they're like, let's add comedy.
Yeah, I guess. But it's like, it's not even funny. It's just weird. No. It's just like, what the fuck?
But everyone gets home to the messy kitchen and the shoes all nicely on the table, very shiny. And they're like, oh my God, a bear broke in. And I'm like, what fucking bear? Put shoes on the table all nicely. Oh, and then not all kinds of shoes you can shine. There were some shoes on there that was like, why are those were being shined?
They're like fleece.
Yeah,
it's like, why? How is that shiny? I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. Like if there was like a serial killer that like will kill the victims, but then the shoes will be really nice and clean. Like that's an interesting way of being like, oh, that's like his thing. It's like. He, serial killers will have a method. So that's his little thing, his little signature,
Yeah.
How, like, Jigsaw had, like, the little saw, like, jigsaw piece that would, like,
so
I
when
get
Leprechaun
it.
kills you, he shines
He
your
shines
shoes and
your
leaves
shoes.
them there for you.
Yeah, it'd be like,
I mean,
okay, so he hit, what's his name? Ozzy. And then he cleans his shoe a little bit.
When he first meets him, yeah.
But it wasn't like he goes, oh, no, not him, the worker. The shop owner. Yes,
he does kill him and then clean his shoes because he's like, oh, you got some stuff on.
He goes, okay, nice and shiny. Like it wasn't like anything cool where you're like, what the fuck?
Which is funny because it's like it takes more longer than that to clean shoes, but to the leprechaun it's just real quick.
And then there's blood. There's obvious blood there.
It's still on it, yeah.
He's like clean enough.
We get Ozzy. He finds like a bell, like a bicycle bell, and he starts playing with it, and it gets really annoying. Yeah. And then as they're chilling, they clean up the kitchen and stuff. They're kind of like trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
The bell starts ringing by itself, and they're like, Ozzy, stop it with the fucking bell. And Ozzy's like, I'm not touching it. It's right there.
This is your bitch just standing right there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he doesn't respond like that. He goes, what?
No, he's very confused. And the bell's basically ringing by itself. Nathan goes out to check what is going on. As he's going around the house, he trips over and falls on a bear trap. And this is when the leprechaun first appears in front of him.
Yeah. And then he says something like, I got you on the bear trap. And then he's like dancing around. And
where's me gold?
Yeah. This scene is so long.
Okay. So when I was a kid, like the sequel and the third one are very prominent in my head. Mm-hmm. The only scene I remember from this movie is this right here.
This one?
Them outside just fighting the leprechaun.
It's so... like, they're beating his ass.
Yeah.
It is so long.
Yeah. They're just hitting him with whatever they got. Nathan is on the fucking bear trap. Yep. And this is what is so funny. They're like, Ozzy, you call the cops. Little boy, 9-year-old, go get the gun. Yeah. What?
They can't trust Ozzy for shit. But they're over here just beating him.
But let's send the child to get a fucking shotgun.
And Jennifer Aniston is over here like smacking him once.
Yeah.
Nathan's hitting him once.
In the fucking 80 art.
Oh my god.
So Ozzy calls the cops and it sounds like Michael. He goes, "It's happening. It's happening. There's a leprechaun. Send for help. Send the army. Send the ambulance.
Marines.
Send the Marines." And they don't take him seriously. They're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll be right there." And then you hang
It's
up
like
and
they
back.
know him.
Yeah.
Because they know him that he's like a
Because
dumbass.
back at the police station, they're like, "Oh, it's Ozzy again." And it's like, "What is it this week?" And it was like, "Oh, last week was a Bigfoot and now it's a leprechaun."
Yeah. And they're like, he's a good kid, but pretty dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
Alex brings the shotgun over to Nathan. Nathan shoots the fuck out of this leprechaun. Every time they shoot this leprechaun, it's like the funniest.
He flies. He goes flying.
And it's so funny. So he shoots him. And the thing is, he's shooting at the leprechaun, and the leprechaun's gone because the leprechaun was just there. And as he's shooting him, he's like, "Yeah, and there's nothing there."
He's just shooting at a bush.
And we're supposed to think the leprechaun is right there.
And my thing is that he's not even 100% sure either.
And the thing is, Ozzy comes back and he's like, "I called the cops. They're on their way." And then Jennifer Aniston's like, "Please tell me you didn't tell him it was a leprechaun." He's like, "I did though, because it is." And she's like, "They're not gonna come."
They're like, Jesus fucking Christ,
And then
Ozzy.
Nathan pulls a Loomis. He's like, "I shot him 6 times."
I shot him 6 times. 6 times.
Oh, they they do an homage to another movie, and it had to be on purpose.
They do. Okay, I want to see which one.
Well, when we get there,
Okay,
but
okay.
it's like this had to be on fucking purpose.
Okay, I want
Because
to
it's
hear.
so fucking spot on. So
Oh, I think I know which one.
back at the house, the phone's dead. They're trying to fix up Nathan, and then Jennifer Aniston is like, "Oh, let me call on my portable."
Bitch.
When I heard that line, I felt old as fuck yesterday because I heard that line and I was like, "The fuck she mean her portable?" And then she pulls out her phone and I was like, "Oh my god."
Her cell phone, bro. Her
Okay,
portable.
I'm from 94, so this was okay. So this movie was shot and basically made in 91,
Yeah.
but it didn't get released until 93.
Yeah.
And she was already like,
She was
and then
20.
a year later, she's already in Friends. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
You want to know a fun fact about that?
Mhm.
So the movie Leprechauns came out,
Mhm.
and it was a poster with him just like chilling, like
Yeah.
him coming out of the door, which is really cool. I love that poster.
Mhm.
When Friends came out and she became super popular, that same year they changed the poster with her just really big.
Yeah.
It's the same poster. It's just that she's really big now
In the front of
in
it.
the front, and it's
'Cause
not
I
even.
remember that poster was just the leprechaun.
Yep.
She was never part of that
Nope.
poster.
And then they added her that same year because she got so big.
Because even that picture of her is not even from this movie. That's
Yep,
from somewhere
it's from,
else.
It's from like at the time.
Because she has her hair cut and she's super blonde.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so weird. They were trying to cash in. They're like, maybe
Hell yeah.
she's here.
Jennifer started. If this movie would have came out a year after Friends, it probably would have made a lot more money
Yeah.
just because she's in it.
Yeah. It's true.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't blame them. I wonder if Jennifer Aniston is probably like, they try to cash in on my fame, so that's probably why I don't like them.
No, I think she knows what she was in, and she's like,
Like, she wasn't the worst part of this movie.
She wasn't, but she's not a good sport about it.
I guess that's true.
She's never made another horror movie in her life after this.
Oh, shit. I mean, because
she's only done rom-coms.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because Friends literally took her like 10 years.
I was just like, this was your first career debut. Don't deny that. Don't act like this movie doesn't exist because it wasn't Friends.
Supposedly, it's theorized that there's like a commercial back in the day that there's a girl that looks just like her, but there's no confirmation that it's her.
So with
But-
that,
But
Is
yeah,
this
it's
their
this
first
one.
thing?
It's this one.
so just be a good sport about it. If I'm in a horrible movie and then I pop off and I'm like in everything, I'll be like, yep, that was me, and look at me now.
yeah. Exactly.
Raining
Rolling in that
bands.
dough. Rolling in that dough, baby. Well, also, was it Kevin Bacon is ashamed of his fucking Friday the 13th appearance? Because he didn't mention
Oh yeah. Okay, so there was a TikTok the other day of Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's account, which
and it
obviously,
was that
yeah.
one move. It's that one song that's like, what's that one song? They call me this, they call me that. I forgot the fucking
They
song.
call me, huh? They call me Stacy.
Yeah, that song.
That's not my
and
name.
he does like all his characters except the one from Friday. He even does the Tremors one.
He does Tremors. It starts with his earliest one that's not Friday the 13th, like the one after, and then he goes down the list.
I called him out. I've commented. I was like, hey, don't forget where you came from because where's Jack? I know who Jack is.
Jack, Friday 13th, baby. Come on.
He ain't gonna
and he
that.
had the best kill in the fucking movie.
He did. He forgot about Jack. No. But anyway, back to Leprechaun. So, okay, so she doesn't call the cops yet. I'm sorry. I went a little bit way too ahead.
That's true.
So in here, it's like they try to fix him up, but they can't. So what they do is that they try to leave via the truck, and the truck doesn't want to start. So there's this whole thing like that Alex goes out and tries to fix the touches a wire in the truck and it works. But when he goes to do this again, the Leprechaun broke all the shit inside of the truck motor. He runs back in the car. The Leprechaun attacks him in the car. This is where he pulls a Mike Tyson and bites Ozzy's ear off.
Oh yeah.
And then the Leprechaun runs into the barn. He's pimping his ride because he pimps out the car he had.
He puts like the
He
torch.
turns it into fucking Mad Max. He turns that car into Mad Max.
Real motherfucking quick too. Like it has a little, what is a pitchfork? A pitchfork.
Yeah, in the front.
On the front.
Yeah.
And this motherfucking car, he drives it, hits it from the side. Granted, it's a toy car.
Yeah.
It's a toy motherfucking car. And the truck flips over. It completely flips over.
The thing is it's not like the truck slowly flips over. No, he bumps it and the truck just flips over.
It's like it's like you went on a Universal ride and they had an explosion with the truck flying.
It's like the fucking T-Rex from Jurassic Park ran at this truck and hit it with the head and it just flew off. Like that's what it looked like. But
oh my god.
Leprechaun checks into the truck, they're gone. He's like, "Where's me gold?" And they're hiding. They run. This is when they do run back into the house. Leprechaun chases them in and then he loses a hand here because it gets like squished with the door.
It gives me Evil Dead vibes, to be
Yeah,
honest, because it starts walking like Evil Dead,
and then the hand comes outside of him. He reattaches it. This is when she says, "Let me call the police on my portable." And I was very confused.
Dead.
Yeah,
yeah, I was super confused. I was like, "Portable? What the fuck?" The only portables I know is like the classrooms.
Yeah.
So I got confused for a second, but I was like, "Oh, portable phone. I guess they can't call. They didn't know how to call it cell phone
yet." Yeah. So she calls the police. She gets through to them. They call the officer that's already dead, the deputy, and the Leprechaun's pretending to be him, changing his voice. So ain't nobody coming now.
Fucking asshole. He's everywhere at the same time, bro.
Tori, Jennifer Aniston's character, still thinks it's not a leprechaun, which is amazing. Amazes me still.
It's like, come on, you saw him.
What do you think this is, a child?
It's a bear. It's still a bear.
Like,
because Ozzy's still like, it's a fucking leprechaun.
And Tori's like, no, it's not. And I would have been like, bitch, what the fuck did you see outside?
Tell me.
Tell me. What the fuck do you think that was?
Like, she had an attitude too. I would have been so pissed if I was Ozzy.
The thing is, 5 minutes later, I believe. She says, like, I believe.
That motherfucker was a leprechaun. Like, she's so scared now.
So, Jennifer Aniston's character, Tori, she decides to go outside and go get the gold from the well because that's where the boys hid it. And she goes out, she grabs it. The well is glowing green.
For some fucking reason.
Wherever the gold is, it glows green. Whatever.
In 4-leaf clovers.
Or 4-leaf clovers. And she grabs the gold. The leprechaun appears in front of her and she gives him the gold. He's like, it smells like me gold. It tastes like me gold. It looks like me gold. And as she's running, you pointed at this. She's screaming, but her mouth isn't moving.
Like literally, you hear, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And she literally turns around. She's like, "Like what? What's happening?"
So, the leprechaun leaves him alone. He got what he wanted. That's all he wanted.
He's minding his business.
Yeah,
but there's one fucking motherfucking problem.
But he's counting his gold, and he makes it to 99. And they're like, and he's like, "They have me last gold coin." And so Leprechaun is pissed off again and he still wants his last coin.
He got 99 coins, but a bitch ain't one.
Yup. So Alex goes to the fridge to go get something. Leprechaun pops out of the fridge, attacks Alex.
Which, I gotta mention, I thought he needed a tricycle to fucking travel everywhere.
So here's another thing.
Teleport.
So he couldn't teleport out of the crate even with the clover on top?
Okay,
The clover's not touching him.
I know it's not touching him. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt.
Well, they should have created a force field around the crate. I'm just saying.
Something like a little visual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just okay. Let's say he had a visual. My thing is, he was on a tricycle this entire movie.
And skates. We'll be in skates later.
Cars,
skateboard,
toy cars, skateboard. And now you can teleport. Where that came from? Where the fuck was that? What
he did teleport earlier too in the pawn shop because he comes out of the safe.
Oh, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say maybe it's because he has the coins, but he didn't have them back then.
No, so his whole thing was that now that he has the coin, he's more powerful. He says that.
Yeah, he does.
But at the pawn shop, he didn't have them. So why was he teleporting?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Whatever.
Now. Well, what is it?
Whatever.
This movie got me baffled.
No, the thing is, we watched 4 of them, and my brain cells are dead. So
suspend your disbelief. There you go.
I still can't say it. So he appears in the he appears out of the fridge, attacks Alex. They start fighting him. He hides in the cabinets. They're trying to shoot him through the cabinets, but he keeps popping out of other doors. Very cartoonish,
but very dumb because he goes, Tori, go open it, move real quick, and I'll shoot it.
Yeah,
motherfucker, just shoot it.
Yeah, the bullets will go through it. Trust me.
You'll hit him, but no, they waste their time.
He's lucky he's cute. Nathan's lucky he's cute.
Barely, to be honest. He just has muscles.
He's pretty handsome. He looks like Evan Peters.
Okay, I guess.
Anyways,
I understand.
But he disappears out of the cabinets after he grabs Nathan's junk, which...
So who is gay?
So he cops the field.
He goes, oh shit.
And then disappears. 2 seconds later, motherfucker comes down the chimney and says, ho, 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 but this ain't Santa Claus.
Why?
That's my favorite part.
Such a dumb line, but
I love it. He gets fucking shot here again. He flies. Runs away again. And then he's on a skateboard, like crossing the hallway, and Nathan's trying to shoot him and keeps missing.
Oh my god! Which this shotgun has infinite ammo.
Yeah,
because we never see him reload.
No, he goes down to the basement. You can hear him underneath the floorboards. I guess he thinks he ran outside. He goes down to check with his ears the floor, and the fucking leprechaun pops his head out, gets shot again. And then I think he disappears again because then this is when the phone rings and she answers it and the leprechaun, bitch, where's me gold? And she disconnects the phone angrily and she throws it. The phone rings again
and she's
she answers it. And it's the leprechaun again saying, bitch, where's me gold? And his hand pops out of the phone. And this, I swear to God, they took this same exact scene from Nightmare on Elm Street.
I literally have it on my notes as like a Nightmare on Elm Street reference. It has to be because it's literally shot almost identically.
Yep. And Nancy answers the phone. She gets mad, throws it, disconnects it too. The phone still rings, and then the whole tongue thing. But here's with it, Leprechaun little hand, his little strong hand. It literally looked. He said, "This is my strong hand."
It literally looked just like this little strong hand. That shit was so funny.
So Ozzy says he has the last gold coin. He's like, I'm gonna go sacrifice myself because it's in my stomach. Yeah, they didn't know that. But then Tori changes 180. She's like, no, Ozzy, don't do that. We can help you. And I'm like, didn't you just say you want this to be over?
No, the movie's not. We still have 45 minutes left.
We sure do.
Well, one thing, how did Ozzy not shit that shit out already? It's literally been almost an entire day.
I'm sorry, but
it's been a day.
They haven't eaten.
Oh, no, they ate.
We don't know that. They cut that. They cut that scene.
No, the diner scene.
Yeah. Nathan was eating, but then as soon as the two boys sit down, it cuts away. True. We don't know if they ate.
That's true. He does mention
First
food.
of all. Second of all, I ain't gonna take a shit when I know there's a fucking leprechaun somewhere and they can pop out of the fucking toilet because that would have surprised me.
Okay, but you take your shit. It's right there, motherfucker. Go grab it.
I'm not about to get a leprechaun on my ass. I can tell you that much. So he's like, oh, I know the story of Mr. O'Grady. He had a heart attack. He used to live in this house. They used to tell me all these stories. So, Tori's like, oh, okay, I'll go get him and see how we can kill this leprechaun and this once and for all. She goes to escape on her Jeep. She does, but then the way to get her to leave, they distracted the leprechaun by throwing shoes at him, because if they throw shoes at him, he's going to want to shine them.
Which is so weird.
It happens. She leaves. The leprechaun appears behind her Jeep and skates. So he's holding onto the Jeep, but then she takes a sharp turn and he keeps going and hits a fucking fence, very cartoonish with his silhouette on it.
And he's like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
He gets up like, God damn it.
So she gets to the home facility. She finds Mr. O'Grady's room.
And I have a theory. I don't know how to confirm it. Jennifer Aniston, you are listening, you can ask, or the director, anybody. Because there's a scene where she walks up to the main desk. Mm-hmm. The security guard obviously is fucking sleeping. Yeah. She grabs the, I guess every home that is in there.
All the rooms and all the patients.
Right? Yeah. And you never see Jennifer Aniston. You see someone's butt, pretty much. Yeah. And I swear to God, this is not Jennifer Aniston.
There were reshoots. So I'm pretty sure this was probably one of them.
You don't see her face. You barely see her. Like, her hair looks almost like that Spirit Halloween wig a little bit. You only see a little bit there. And then she walks away, and then we get the scene with Jennifer Aniston walking in the door.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's probably something there, because
they probably forgot, and they're like, wait, it's kind of random that
she knows where his room is. But it's also random how she got into this facility late at night. And the one cop is asleep.
Yeah, and
there's no alarms, and you can just walk in.
Typical horror movie.
I found weird. But she gets to the room, and she's like, oh, Mr. O'Grady, how can you help us basically kill this leprechaun? And the leprechaun's like, there's one way to kill it, but I won't tell you. And then he turns around, and it's fucking the leprechaun. He got to Mr. O'Grady real quick because he can teleport.
Jesus.
So there's this whole chase scene.
And
the thing is that in this chase scene, apparently Jennifer Aniston was running in slow motion, because Warwick Davis couldn't keep up with her in the wheelchair. So what they did is that they had her run in slow motion. They had him basically go like regular speed. So they sped the scene up, so she looks like she's running regularly, and then the leprechaun looks like he's going real fast.
But then I'm watching, and I'm like, there was no need for that. No. There's not one scene. I literally I stopped what I was doing watching, and there's no scene that they're both together. No. Because I would understand that. I'd be like, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. If you can see that, like,
the leprechaun behind her or something. Yeah.
But no, there's no scenes together. It's literally shot separately, like where it's him going really, really fast and then her going normally. Yeah. So why the fuck is that needed? Or if it's not even real? I'm questioning that fact. Yeah. I know they had to speed up his thing because they've done it before. With
no, you can tell they speeded him up in a lot of scenes.
He's literally like going even on
the tricycle, fast. He's going really fast. The car is going really fast. The toy car is going really fast.
But like her going in slow motion, I doubt that's real.
Unless it was longer and it was cut up.
Maybe.
And I don't know. But she gets into the elevator. Mr. O'Grady falls from the ceiling of the elevator. Why was he up there? Why did the leprechaun put him up there? I don't know.
Fucking no.
He could have just left his ass in the room.
Yeah.
And he tells her that you need a 4-leaf clover to kill this thing.
Well, which I thought he was completely dead, but then he starts talking, and I'm like, oh, okay, we can just forget about that.
The leprechaun did not do his job right, because he still fucking O'Grady still told her how to kill him.
They could have been fucked if he did his job.
Yeah. So she gets back home. She's looking for the 4-leaf clover. This is when the leprechaun finds her. She runs away. He chases her again. She finds the dead cop. She's like, oh, fuck, he's dead. And the leprechaun gets his eye gouged out with one of those
the batons.
The batons.
Like she stabs it into his eye, and he breaks it, throws it out.
Which now he has fucking Jeepers Creepers power, so he can grab other body parts and switch them up for new ones.
And that's creepy.
That's cool.
This is before Jeepers Creepers.
Oh yeah, way before. But I didn't know he could do that, because I don't think he does it again.
No, he put his hand back to
but it was his hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't someone else's.
But I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Does he do it in the other ones? Not in 3 or 4.
Not in 2 either. I don't remember. So
our brains just turned into mush.
He puts his eye back on, and he's like, oh, an eye for an eye, and then immediately gets fucking shut down and just fly. And the way he always gets shot and just flies off is the full funny. But in this particular scene, they show us the leprechaun on the ground, and he's just looking so like.
I'm gonna put a picture because that shit is so funny.
It's like, why he look like that? So they run over to the well. They're looking for 4-leaf clover. In the meantime, Alex goes into the barn trying to set up a trap for the leprechaun. Mind you, he's talking. His lips aren't moving.
Yeah. He's saying the same thing. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I think this scene was probably silent, and they needed this kid to say something, so it wasn't so awkward.
Yeah,
it's kind of long,
and it's a very long scene.
Yeah,
that they could have cut it up. We knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but his plan fails because he gets attacked by the leprechaun
that teleports there.
Yeah, but mind you, while this is happening, they can't find a 4-leaf clover. She gets super frustrated, and Ozzy's like, "You just gotta believe." And Jennifer Aniston's like, "Shut the fuck up, Ozzy. Ain't nobody want to talk to you no more."
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
And then she's like, I do believe, and she finds one, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and also the patch, because Grady says that there's a patch of just 4-leaf clovers. That specific patch is glowing green.
It's reanimated.
It's so random.
Fun fact, Herbert West lived in that house for about a year, and he threw some of the reagent around the well, and that's why it glows, and that's why clovers
that makes the most sense now. I get it now.
Okay. It was between it was after the Reanimator movie while him and Dan were in Costa Rica, Peru, whatever.
Oh,
all that happened too. Yeah.
Listen to the Bride of Reanimator episode. Very good.
And Reanimator. So they find one. They attack the leprechaun again. Ozzy's like, "Come at me, bitch! I got your coin in my stomach." And Leprechaun's like, "Well, it's your belly I want." So
and leaves everyone alone. He walks past everybody.
Yep, and there's a little chase scene. He jumps on Ozzy, knocking him down, and he starts cutting up Ozzy with his little shoe buckle, and then again gets fucking shot
and flies out.
Well, this is okay. So this is when Alex comes out. He puts the 4-leaf clover on a piece of gum, and he has the shooting thing.
It's the slingshot.
The slingshot.
Because he does it earlier.
All the kids in the 90s had.
Yeah, he does it earlier in the movie, like one time where he has a slingshot and shoots Ozzy in the face.
So it's not random. Be like, where did this slingshot come from? But
yeah, it's like remember.
And this is where this was obviously probably reshot because the original line was like, "You're out of luck," and it got changed to "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," because obviously,
great line.
Lucky Charms didn't want to be sponsoring this movie.
I mean, so that's their fault.
He shoots the leprechaun the 4-leaf clover into his mouth. The leprechaun starts melting, very Gremlins from the fountain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm. This is the part where I thought it was maybe a reference to It, because he kind of starts melting like It into the well.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I can kind of see that similar. So I'm like, maybe it's a reference to it.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Nathan comes, hits him with the shotgun in the head, and pushes him down the well. Because he comes back up, he's like, "Where's me gold?" As a fucking skeleton. Like this, I'm like, die. Just fucking die already.
Just literally kill yourself.
This movie just keeps going. And Alex pours gasoline down the well and blows it up. Boom. The cops come, save. Yeah, the cops come. The day is saved.
They took a whole day to come. A whole day
to come.
Oh.
Daddy, chill.
Sorry. A little excited.
But they came in the morning.
Yeah.
They literally took all night.
They also showed up with the dad. The dad is like, "Hey, my kid might be in trouble."
Like, you barely see him too. It's like he's like kind of in the background.
Yeah, if I didn't point it out, you don't know that's her dad. But I only know because I saw the one red shirt, and it's the first person that goes to hug her.
Yeah, and it's everyone in here is like a cartoon character, or they wear the same clothing the entire movie.
Yes. So that's Leprechaun, y'all.
That's Leprechaun.
And then it ends with like him saying a rhyme like, something about this well. I will leave this curse to dwell, and somebody will revive me. But don't even know. It doesn't even matter because the next movie he's revived some other way.
Yeah,
it's not even takes place here.
I'm telling you,
it's like retcon. Then it's like a whole new movie, Leprechaun 1 all over again.
You can literally just watch them individually.
You don't have to watch them in order, to be honest. But you don't.
That was Leprechaun. Yep. So now we're gonna do our regularly reviews from Letterboxd, IMDb, whatever the fuck you want. Mm-hmm. But Carlos, you want to start with yours?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna do my 5-star review. Which I gotta look through my albums from fan. Okay, here we go. My 5-star review. Tricycle, skateboard, and many more. The Leprechaun uses so many creative modes of transportation. Warwick Davis steals the show while Jennifer Aniston stunts us with her beauty. Must watch action packed phenomenon.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can agree with it. And what's your number one?
My 1-star review deserves some punishment, I guess.
That's when you're a masochist and you're just like, let me go through them. I fucking hate myself. That's a good one. So my 5-star review says Warwick Davis is a fucking treasure and the 5 stars are just for him. And it's true. I fucking loved him. Like he actually was so entertaining to watch and everyone else was just kind of bland.
Yeah.
My number one. Sorry, he has a picture of the leprechaun. Oh, sorry. Okay. So my number 1 star is Leprechaun. More like slept on my bed because this movie put me to sleep. Haha. Am I right, fellas? But the best part, it's a 1 star, right? Then at the end, they put 2 out of 10. It's like, wait.
Well, if you average it out of 10, it is on 1 star.
Yeah, okay, there we go. It is out of 5. Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But I love that fucking comment. So good. All right, so daddy of the movie?
Nathan.
Daddy, chill.
So good. I mean, Nathan was good. I think Warwick Davis.
Oh, of course.
I loved him.
Yeah.
He was great in this movie.
I love that he stuck to this character for 6 other movies because I don't think he's in the 7th one.
Yeah.
Or the 8th one. But I'm just proud of him for sticking to this character, and I'm glad that he did.
He's like Robert Englund. Very proud of it too. Like I'm so glad, and I think there was like a thing where he kind of called out Jennifer Aniston for like being like,
hell yeah,
like,
good
you
for
think
him.
You're too good. She played the character of Tori, but in real life, like she's too good.
Yeah,
but I know supposedly, so he's an British actor. I think
he's done basically Harry Potter. He's done Lord of the Rings. Anytime you need a little person or you see a little person in a movie like an elf or something, it's probably him.
Yeah, and that's awesome, that because he's super proud of that shit, and honestly, he deserves all the praise. Supposedly he didn't have a work visa for this movie, so they were trying to get it to him.
Because he was in Star Wars too.
Yes, he was in Star Wars, which he got. He only did the movie Leprechaun if George Lucas was okay with it.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Bro, hell yeah, do it." And so he didn't get his work visa, but they sped it. Like they did it express as fast as fuck just for him, so he can get in on time for this movie, which is awesome. Pretty cool.
Because it's like I think he was on the set and then he would go to this one, but it's like imagine from going one set to the other, it's 2 different movies.
Dude, that'd be wild as hell. But I mean, hell, that's cool as hell.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, but any cool kills that you would think of? This one doesn't have like that many kills, but
a lot. I was like, why all these people survive?
Yeah. They got that Sally from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They kill the pawn shop because no one cares about him.
Yeah.
And then they kill the deputy because who cares about him? But all the main characters make it.
Yeah, that's true. All of them make it. I mean, Ozzy gets fucked up. But...
Oh, and then the O'Grady's in the beginning.
Yeah, and that's it.
O'Grady. So the kills are not that great, to be honest.
The Pogo one is the more funny one.
It's funny. I would say the Mrs. O'Grady because it was an accident. All he was like, "Where's my gold?"
And I love that she turns into like a dude because it's like a dude on a suit.
Oh, another thing, when Jennifer Aniston arrives at the house in the Jeep and she's doing Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
it's a dude driving the car with a wig on. If you know it's also the wig is curly hair.
That's funny. Hair. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I need to see that now.
And then it cuts to her.
Yeah, because it's like, damn, she's Tokyo drifting up in that bitch.
No, she was not.
But okay, so I think the Pogo one was the more interesting one. So
okay, I'll go with Miss O'Grady because it was an accident.
That was a funny one. I call it the laugh alert.
Yeah.
And then the quotes. I mean. It just has like a few quotes.
He just puns a lot and rhymes a lot. I should have wrote them down.
Yeah, he has a lot of good ones. But I like I don't fuck. Where's my Lucky Charms? I like that one. I thought it was pretty funny. It's like he keeps saying it, and it's like, dude, we get it.
You like it.
Oh, but that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
guys,
if you're wanting to watch it, it is on Peacock or Tubi, I believe.
Tubi tends to remove movies kind of quick, but it's definitely on Peacock for the premiere account.
Yep.
So, and that way you can watch The Office if you want to. But what movie are we gonna rewatch this next week?
Oh my God! So next week we are I'm gonna leave that up to you. We have 2 choices. I'm not. What do you want to do? Which one?
Whichever. I don't know. I don't care.
Okay, so next week we're gonna watch Final Destination.
Yeah.
And then after that we're gonna watch Saw.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing this month.
I'm gonna give him time because Saw. I'm gonna leave him in charge of Saw because that's not for me.
I love Saw. So if you guys are excited for that, that'd be a fun episode. I love Final Destination as well. So that's a movie that I'm familiar with. So that'll be fun.
Baby Devin Saw was in that. So.
Ooh, baby. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to support us, we always have our merchandise down below.
Yep.
We have like our Horror Daddies pillow. We have our shirts and stuff. We got little designs in there. So go check those out. It's the first link down below. And then our social medias at Horror Daddies. Our personal social medias and our Horror Daddies social media is going to be down below. Go check us out there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, thank you so much for everyone leaving a review.
Yeah.
We noticed that there was a couple, so thank you. We really do appreciate it. Very, very, very thankful.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a safe St. Patrick's Day. Don't drink too much. Make sure you wear green.
Don't drive. Drink a lot, but don't drive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. And remember,
fuck you, Lucky Charms.
See you in your dreams.
Horror Daddies.